Yeah. It was.
Limp
Rolling,
Bizkit.
rolling. Come on.
On that note, come on, let's do this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another special episode of Red Wine and Chaos.
This one is special today.
We are taking a little trip down memory lane, and we are back at one of our favorites in Kalamazoo. It's called the Beer Exchange.
The Kalamazoo Beer Exchange. It is near and dear to our hearts, especially mine. I am a previous employee of the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange. It's been a long, long time. I'm not going to tell you how many years, because then that really dates me. That really puts some age on us if I say how long. It's been a whole decade.
Yeah, I was going to say, but Laura opened this place, and you can look on the website and do some math.
You're just going to tell all my secrets? Just going to tell all my secrets? So we're back. We're coming to you. Well, we're not. We're live right now. We won't be live when you all join us, but we're coming to you. It's like Sunday Fun Day.
Oh, it is.
It's Sunday Fun Day here at the Beer Exchange. We walked in. They opened at 3 p.m., and there were people pouring in right at 3 o'clock. People are ready to enjoy. It is a beautiful day in Kalamazoo, by the way.
Yeah.
Sun is blaring, dead in my eyeballs.
Damn near 50 degrees outside in December.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There are a lot of people out and about today, so hopefully you all are enjoying your Sunday as well. We came down for a purpose, not just because we wanted to have a Sunday Fun Day. My good friend Jim, who has opened the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, as well as a second location. So there is now another location, the Beer Exchange, open in Detroit, which we are excited to go visit in May. Right? May.
Is it May? Is it March?
I think it's May.
Okay.
It's May.
One of those M's.
Yeah, one of those M months. I'm pretty sure it's May, though. We're going to go do that Cat and Nat show that we're very excited about, have a whole girls' day, and go check out the Beer Exchange in Detroit. However, Jim reached out, and he had heard from somebody from the streets. He had heard from the streets that we were doing a wine podcast. And
one of y'all.
Yeah, one of y'all. One of y'all told him. And we appreciate the fact that you did, because we love partnering with our local business partners and folks here in the city of Kalamazoo that we love. And he said, come on down, because a lot of people probably don't know, but the Beer Exchange has a phenomenal wine menu.
I didn't know.
No, I didn't either. I had no idea. It's been a while since I've been in. We're old and we don't get out much like we used to. But no, I cannot say that I've ever had wine when I've walked into the Beer Exchange.
No.
But Jim is very proud of the wine menu that they put together here for this reason. Their focus on their wine list is that all of these wines are either like organically, certified organic, grown with organic practices, biodynamic, or sustainably farmed.
Yeah.
So that's very impressive.
Yeah, and living, especially in the city that we live in Kalamazoo, everyone's very, if they're not locally focused, they're focused on like best practices and organic, and it's just a very progressive town in that sense.
It is.
So to see a wine menu that kind of fits this so beautifully in with this locally, organically sourced environment that we live in, but also within the Kalamazoo is really rich in their craft beer, and so to find a wine menu that is as impressive as his beer menu is nice to see.
Yeah, and it's exciting because it just gives you another option, because not everyone is a beer drinker. Mm-hmm. We love our wines. Trust me, we love our beer. We will throw back beers. We have, like I said, we've had plenty of beers in this restaurant. We have never had wine, but their wine list is something to dote over. It's very impressive. So Jim invited us to come down, give it a try, We got to have our pick at our bottle here, and we went with a Pinot. I don't think there's a surprise there.
No,
we went with a Pinot because it's true to our heart.
And I think if we're trying a new wine, like I feel like we're versed enough in Pinots that like that's our gold standard. If you can give me a good Pinot, like I'll try your other wines.
Right. And I feel like it's the one that we are like being the most versed in, that we're most confident in terms of our palate and being able to really talk about a new Pinot.
I agree.
Yeah. So we went with a bottle of the Lovely Lily Pinot Noir. It's a German wine. Mm-hmm. And it is it has a really...
I'm gonna take a picture of the bottle because the bottle is so cool, you guys.
It's got Lily on there. Lily is a dog.
Lily's their cellar dog.
Yep, she's a cellar dog. That's what the wine is named after. It was their vineyard and cellar dog. She passed in 2014. This wine is made by a husband and wife team out of Baden, Germany. And as far as their vineyard is concerned, there are no herbicides or pesticides used in the vineyards. Harvest is done completely by hand. And in the cellar, a short cold soak is followed by a delicate press and fermentation into open-top vessels. So again, the very organic, natural process here. So everything, you're knowing what's going in the wine, which is what Jim was stressing, the importance of his wine list that he's chosen here. As far as the notes are concerned, it's a light ruby color, which, yes, it is light. As we were pouring it, that's the first thing Ashley said. Yep. Light ruby color with aromas of fresh strawberries, raspberries, and cranberries. The palate is energetic with plenty of refreshment and a lively mineral core to complement the crunchy red fruit flavors. It's nice.
It is. It's the first thing I said when we tried it was that it's an easy to drink Pinot. Mm-hmm. It would go with a lot of things. It's not going to overpower any kind of food, but it's also not going to take a back seat either because it's bright and it's refreshing and I like it.
It's very good.
It's lighter than a lot of the Pinots we've had, but it's good.
It is good.
What was this one? This one was locally?
Nope,
organic?
This one is considered, what was it? Organic practices, created with organic practices. Again, that was that no herbicides or pesticides used in the vineyards. So I'm gonna go with a 2.5.
That's what I was gonna do too.
Yeah, 2.5.
It's a really solid wine, and the dog on there is really fucking cute.
It's nice, and it does have So in terms of price point, we're looking at about $28 for the bottle here. I think, listing the stores, obviously, you're going to come down a little bit on that. But it's a solid Pinot. Yeah. I absolutely would get this again for sure.
I would, too.
Let's say 2.5 cheers. So clink, 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 click, click on that. And so we're excited to be here. One of the things that Jim also said, he's a fan of the podcast, so we appreciate you listening.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you for that. And he loved our Am I the Asshole episodes.
Yeah.
He mentioned, and he was like, oh my God, they were assholes. So he definitely tuned in, and we thought, what better way to pay tribute to one of our favorite restaurants and bars in Kalamazoo, one that I have worked at. Man, if y'all just caught me in here, I was in here pregnant as hell working.
So pregnant.
My big belly was in here.
You had your baby shower here.
Had my baby shower here. Lots of great memories. Sitting in the room that we had the baby shower in. Yeah. Lots of really great memories in this place.
Yeah.
And
that day, I remember Stephanie offered to take shit back to your house for you. Uh-huh. And that was when she was driving that Wrangler.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
I had to sit in the back of that Wrangler with her and Eric in the front, and I was squeezed in like a fucking sardine because she packed that bitch full. Because we love Stephanie for that. She's so helpful.
Yeah.
And sometimes she's so helpful that I think she overdoes it. And that was a time where I was like, oh, good.
I can't move. Yeah, there was a lot of shit. We had this back place. There was a lot of people
filled.
At that baby shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of love. I felt the love that day. It was great. It was filled with my Burdick's peeps. It was filled with my Kalamazoo Beer Exchange peeps. It was a good day. It was a great day. But in opening this restaurant and then just working in the hospitality industry or the service industry in itself, there are a lot of assholes.
So many.
And so we thought, what better way than to come back and talk about a service industry filled episode, Am I the Asshole episode, focused on the service industry. Ashley's found some doozies for us. I don't even know what they are yet, but I can't wait to hear them because really working. I think everybody should work in the hospitality or service industry at some point in their life.
Ben and Shanna just told me that they're getting ready to get their son, their oldest, he's 15, to go work at one of the new diners that's opening in town.
Yep, I think it's there's a new one.
Oliver.
Roxy's or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that the other day. I'm excited to see
Ben
that.
knows the owner or the guy who like manages it. Ben knows everybody because he's Ben.
Because he's Ben. Right.
So
nice.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to go there.
We will. We'll have to check it out. But I would encourage that. I think it is. I think it's a super helpful tool.
Yeah.
Because it sets you up to be able to work with or for or serve
of people.
Yeah, because the public can be real dicks.
Oh God, they're terrible. Yeah. So let's go into this first one. It's kind of a layup.
All right, I'm ready.
It's a bit of a layup.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's, am I the asshole for making servers do roll-ups? Now, if you don't know what a roll-up is, it's rolling silverware. I'm not a manager or higher up, just a fellow server who is sick of coworkers not pulling their weight. So if I see somebody is trying to leave without doing roll-ups, I'll say something. I don't want to be a bitch. I just want us all to work as a team. Is this wrong? Should I just let everybody do whatever they want?
So she's not...
She's asking if she's the asshole for holding them accountable for their rolling silverware.
So it's funny. You're probably going to laugh at me for this. I say yes and no. Only for this reason. One, nobody likes a snitch.
But I'm also not going to get stuck with your shit later because you chose not to do it.
Right. Nobody likes a snitch. And there were a ton of assholes who used to steal other people's crates.
I did.
They would see? So you were the asshole at one point in time. So
we're not surprised.
No, you would be getting slammed at work, and then you'd have a long-ass day, and then you still got to roll your crate, and you're like, God damn it, people would go in and steal other people's crates.
Well, and sometimes
you'd have to
you were
hide
still
them in
so
the back.
busy.
Yeah.
And there wasn't enough to fill a crate.
Right. So, no.
Silverware is an awful job.
It is.
Rolling silverware is a terrible part of side work.
And there were a lot of people who didn't pull their weight on that. Right. So, for holding them accountable, no, I will not say you're an asshole. However, you remember when you would have servers who would try to tell other servers what to do? Let the boss do that job. You know, like, just
mention it to them.
Yeah, just be like, hey, you know.
Well, and if you're the closer, right, then you don't sign out. Hey,
let me
boss,
see it.
I'm not signing, just so you know, I'm not signing their side work sheet because they didn't roll their silverware.
If I'm the closer and I'm checking you out and you don't have it, I'm going to say, I got to see your silverware. Oh, so-and-so took it. Sorry.
Better go ask the dishwashers politely to run another rack.
Yep. Nope, you're not going. So that's why I said yes and no. I think it's all about the delivery. Don't be a dick about it, though. Nobody likes the know-it-all.
No.
Nobody likes to know-it-all kiss ass that kisses, the butts of the managers. But at the same time, hold your people come.
Also, if somebody's coming to you and saying, I need you to roll this silverware, your ass got caught and you need to roll it.
Just do it. Been there, done that many a time.
I pulled this one because this happened to me.
Okay.
With my good old buddy Kyle.
This should be good.
Number 2, am I the asshole for quitting during the middle of a shift waiting tables and leaving all of the other servers in the weeds as a result?
Yes.
I, 23 female, wait tables part-time for some extra money. I have a full-time job in addition to very few expenses and a frugal lifestyle, so I don't need my serving job to make ends meet. Oh, you're making it worse.
Oh, you are.
But I've been working at the same restaurant for years, and I'm good friends with most of the staff. We got a new manager at the restaurant a few months ago, and he is a nightmare. He is incompetent, rude, makes a lot of sexist comments and sexual innuendos. The other weekend, we were slammed on a Saturday night, and he was even worse than usual. He messed up a large party in my section. He ran out the wrong food and blamed me for ringing it in incorrectly. Then proceeded to scream at me in front of everyone, including patrons. I tried to walk away, but he literally followed me into the kitchen to keep screaming. This is changing things slightly. About something that was actually his fault. I've been in the restaurant industry since I was 15, so I generally got a pretty thick skin. I believe that.
Yep.
But the combination of his sexual harassment over the past months plus his nonstop screaming caused me to snap. I threw down my apron with all the cash, including all of my tips, so they couldn't accuse me of stealing. Had a girl. And said, fuck this, I don't deserve this shit, and walked out. I probably sacrificed at least $150 in tips I had already made, but it was worth it. Later, my friends who worked that night were really angry with me. They said as a result of my quitting like that, they were all scrambling to cover my section, including a large party, and that it screwed them over way more than management. They said I was being privileged and entitled because I had the ability to quit like that, but that they didn't. And I clearly didn't respect them. I am really conflicted because my main goal was to screw over the manager and get away from him, but apparently I just hurt my friend's feeling. Was I the asshole? Yeah. Kyle walked out in the middle of a busy-ass lunch shift and left me alone. I had no idea what was going on, and I was like, I'm still friends with Kyle to this day,
right.
But I was like, where are you going? Where are you? Come back. Come back.
So, it sucks because that woman, unfortunately, was dealing with management that was trouble to start with. So, I can totally understand where she's coming from.
I think you're the asshole because you should have at least waited until after your shift.
You
should have made
you
the
just
same
gotta get
statement.
through it. Yeah, you got to work through it because it really is. I mean, when you work in this industry, you truly are like a team, and as you and I have said, we have grown very close and have maintained lifelong friendships with a lot of the people that we work with. And so it does become a little bit personal. If you leave me out here, fucked.
You dick.
It really does become a little bit personal in this industry. It's not all about the job. It really does become a little bit personal. So, yeah, I would say, and you are fucking with people's money too, because if they're not able to give a quality level of service to their customers because of your decisions, you're fucking with their money. And for me, that's when it does become personal.
Yes.
When you're messing with my money.
Yes.
So I would say yes, sorry, darling. It sucks. It sounds like you had a dirtball-ass manager, but you are the asshole, because I feel like you could have handled it a little bit differently.
Are you ready for this?
Is there a follow-up?
Every single comment that I have read so far says she is not the asshole.
Those people must not have worked in the service industry before then.
They're not, because they are all appealing to that emotional. No one should endure that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
You're not the asshole if you were uncomfortable.
I mean,
you didn't screw them over. You screwed your manager over. Not true.
Right.
You screwed your staff over.
Your peeps.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the manager.
There's not a single person.
The manager isn't going to pick up that slack. Unless they were like me and they were friends with the entire staff and they didn't want them to ever be screwed over.
So here's probably what I would have done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what made me think. It says, I was ready to say you were the asshole, but you were screamed at, which meant you weren't respected, so your workmates can't use the argument that you didn't respect them and be angry. Now, if I was screamed at by a manager and knew I was going to fucking quit, I'd have just screamed back, finished my shift, and walked out.
Right.
That's what I would have done.
Or fire me.
Right.
Fire me on the spot.
Go ahead.
Because then you could be then everybody could have been mad at the manager.
Yep.
No, you fired me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what if I knew I was going to,
right.
If I was at the point where I was like, fuck this shit and threw my book on the ground with my $150,
right.
I'm going to just yell back at the manager.
Man, she's a G. She didn't even take her money with her. She was just like, you know what? I wouldn't have even been mad at her as her server friend. I'd have just went and took all her tips.
Mm-hmm. Them's mine now.
Dang.
Them's mine now.
Well, I will say, that's kind of crazy. A lot of people must not have worked in the service industry then before.
That's kind of what I was thinking when I read that.
I'm not downplaying inappropriate behavior from management.
No, if you're
I'm
being
not
treated like that by management, let's do something about it.
But think of your fellow people.
Yeah.
Think of your fellow people.
As somebody who has worked in the service industry who had that happen to.
Yeah. It really puts people in
really
predicaments.
Distressing.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that if he was doing that to her, he was doing that to a number of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not downplaying what happened, but
the other thing that's not in there is like,
jackass.
Did you take that to HR? Did you take that to other management?
Right.
Did you? What did you do from when he started to now?
Right.
Was just nothing being done? Nobody was listening and nobody was hearing you.
Right.
Still, yell back and finish your shift. But
right.
I'd be curious to know if like there had been some
other action I was taking.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because,
sorry, sister.
Like we've learned, there's a lot of details that get left out with these the asshole stories.
But Reddit users think you're in the clear. Red Wine and Chaos? Nah,
nope.
We think differently. Sorry.
Dickhead.
No, because we worked in the industry. We know what it's like.
So I brought this one because I thought that it would be interesting with the way the world is going now as far as paying their servers more hourly.
Yeah. Do tell me. What is the going rate hourly now for servers?
I don't know. It's different everywhere.
Okay.
I think pre-pandemic it was like $3.20.
Right. It was like $2.65.
It was $2.65 for a long time.
Okay. So they've got it up a little bit.
Okay. But there's a couple places around Kalamazoo that are paying them like $7-8 an hour.
That's smooth. Where are those places? Do tell.
And you get to keep your tips. So I thought this would be a fun discussion. So this says, I live in Washington State. This state and a handful of others require employers to pay tipped employees the full state minimum wage before tips. The way I see it, once you're making minimum wage, it's between you and your employer, right? Because you can ask for raises, you can do all of those things. I don't tip the kids at McDonald's. Why would I tip a server who's already making at least minimum wage without any help? Or without my help, making minimum wage without my help. Meaning she's not contributing to their hourly by tipping them to bring them from $2.65 to whatever the state minimum is.
Okay. Is that the end? Is she the asshole?
That's the end.
So she's
wanting,
basically she's a patron, and she's saying,
am I the asshole for not tipping in a state that
Okay.
actually pays its servers? Isn't that that's an interesting one?
I would say, yeah, a little bit. I would say if you think about the experience that you have at a sit-down establishment, you know, so we're middle of the road here. We're at Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, right? So it's a bar and with bar food, pub food, upscale bar food. Really nice atmosphere, you know. They also, Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, if you've never been, and so back to here, sorry, but I encourage you to come.
Absolutely.
The premise of the Beer Exchange is that the beer here, you pay, the price of the beer is based on supply and demand. So it's based on what everybody's ordering here.
It's like the stock market.
It's a stock market. So if the demand is high, the price is high. If the demand is low, then you're getting a cheaper price on your beer. And then, randomly, throughout the evening while you're here, the market will crash, like the stock market would, and all of the beer prices plummet to a pretty reasonable rate for, I think it's 2 or 3 minutes. I can't remember the exact 2 minutes. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe it's 5 minutes. Enough to get an order in.
Around.
Maybe it's 5 minutes. I can't remember. I can't recall. But anyways, it's cool to kind of set off this. They ring the bell over here, and you're watching the stock market
change,
screen. Yeah, the screens change, and everything adjusts price-wise. And so, you know, it's kind of you're paying for the experience, and that is a big thing for me when it comes to the service industry. It's about experience.
Yeah.
I believe as a server, you kind of set your own paycheck.
Absolutely.
You make your own money. You're almost an independent contractor because the level of service that you provide dictates how much money you make.
I agree.
And I'm a hustler. When I found out that I could, if I came in here and I could run my ass off and serve my ass off and bartend my ass off, that I could make the type of money that I was making, I was like, oh, shit. Sold.
Watch me.
So that is different from heading to McDonald's and somebody being paid an hourly rate to provide the same experience to every person that walks through the door, and it's very brief. It's a brief encounter. You're not serving them food at the table. You're not serving them drinks. You're not upselling and making recommendations typically. I just think it's a little bit different. So I would say she's a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah, my thought goes to like when I get carry out. So if I order carry out from a restaurant that I go pick up, those hosts make minimum wage or more.
Right.
But I always leave a tip 5%, 10%. I always leave a little something.
Agreed.
Because there's still work that needs, and maybe that's because I've worked in the industry for so long, so I understand the work that goes into it, regardless of how much I'm getting paid.
I will also say that, and I think the difference for me between that and like a McDonald's worker is that those hostesses are doing that in addition to
Correct.
something that they're doing already for in-house patrons,
Correct.
right? So at a fast food restaurant, maybe your position for the time being is you're literally standing. And I'm not saying they don't have other tasks. They have side work and stuff too, and I get that. They have stocking they have to do. But you're standing at the window.
They're also, I'm pretty sure,
on a
not
cash register.
making minimum wage at McDonald's.
Not anymore.
No, but I think for a while, just like when we both worked at Burdick's, like the hosts made more than minimum wage.
Yes.
And so I think that here, anyway, in Michigan, I think it's the same way for McDonald's. Right. I can't speak for anywhere else. Right. But I think because this is not something that we have been doing for years and years and decades like they have in Europe, this not tipping culture, like I understand if you go to England, right, and you try to leave a tip, they kind of look at you funny because
I didn't even know.
Yeah, they don't take tips over there.
Oh.
But so with it being new here in the States, we just recently adopted this, and I think a lot of it came from the pandemic. And I don't know when this was written, but I think it's going to take a while for it to be customary to not leave a tip. Because if you think about it, minimum wage still is not enough.
No, you can't
it's
live
not
on
even
it.
Close to being enough. So I think that I think her heart's in the right place by asking, but I think she's the asshole for not leaving anything.
You're still the
gonna
asshole.
leave something.
And you're asking. I mean, she's not asking us. She was asking Reddit. But in terms of, we're not the right people to ask this question to because yes, you're the asshole. We worked in the industry. We busted our ass in this industry for lots and lots of years, and we pride ourselves on the level of service that we're able to provide. And again, that's how I made my money. I love this industry. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love it because it's like you can again make however much money you want to make, within control. But
so
I would say you're the asshole.
Here's something that we didn't think about. Somebody wrote like a reply, and then they struck it.
They struck it.
They changed it. So at first they said, tipping is intended to help bridge the income of servers. If they're making full minimum wage, then it's less necessary. I'd say if it's a nice restaurant and they were particularly attentive, then a 5 or 10% tip, give them more than minimum wage, might not be inappropriate, but that's up to you. So that's what he struck.
Okay.
And he then said, or her, I don't know if this person, then said, based on discovering that as it turns out, even when the waitstaff are paid quote-unquote full minimum wage, they have to tip out the house.
See?
I'm going to have to change my answer to you're the asshole.
See?
So but we didn't talk about that. As a server, you have to tip out the bar. You have to tip out your busboys. You have to tip out your hostess at some restaurants.
Yep.
So regardless of what are you really coming home with? Yeah. Regardless of what you're making.
And ultimately, I fucking tip everybody. If it's a tippable service, if there's a tip line on there, it's rare that I don't tip somebody.
I'm the same way.
For real. Because I just feel like when I get my nails done, and my hair and everything else, when I take a Uber ride, these people are providing a service. Correct. And I know, even at the minimum, the bare minimum level of service, I'm still gonna look out for them because it's tough. It is also tough. It's great, but it's also tough to manage and live on tips as well. So, not everybody thinks the same way, so you're not getting consistent. Even if you're producing like an amazing high level of service, there are people out here who will fuck you down.
Yeah. Well, and if you're not tipping and they're working you extra hard, because sometimes, right, you have a table that works you extra hard because and so you think...
And those are the assholes.
And so you think you're going to get a decent tip, right? Because they're working, like, if I just can keep up, like, they're at least going to give me, like, a 20%, right? But then they don't, and you've worked extra hard, and you've taken time away from the tables that may have tipped you over 20, had you had the time to be a little bit more attentive.
The best treat is getting a table full of service industry people.
Oh, it was my favorite.
And you know what? They might work you. They might not. They might work you in like, unintentionally work you. But it's worth it.
Always appreciative.
They gonna hook you up. Because I know we've been that table before. And the only reason when I say worked is because we've had a large party and we also had children.
Yeah.
It was the kids. It's goddamn kids.
Let's not forget, I once had a table that tried to tip me in Kohl's cash, y'all. They were the assholes. We talked about that in our service industry episode. Don't forget. They're out here, y'all.
For real. You got another one lined up for us?
I got one more, which is good timing.
Perfect.
This is it's a YSK. I think it's You Should Know.
You Should Know.
I think that's what that stands for.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I am elderly. This says, you should know. This is going to catch some controversy.
Oh, boy.
Not in a negative way, but just, you should know, restaurant servers do not want you to help them load their tray with used dishes ever. Why you should know. It's actually the opposite of helpful to try and help a server load their tray.
Their tray. Yeah.
They are making the correct adjustments with their hands beneath the tray to accommodate the weight each time they set something on it. If you place a random stack of bowls or plates anywhere, the weight balance is completely thrown off.
Tell it to the people in the back.
And the tray could end up flipping onto someone's lap. Happened to me on St. Patrick's Day. A drunk asshole pulled a beer off my tray, and it went flying. Yep. Beer. The rest of those 22-ounce beers I was carrying went everywhere.
Because I couldn't have described it better than that person on there.
Yeah.
Literally, as you're pulling, you're making adjustments. You're shifting the weight of everything on your hand.
Yep. If you want to be helpful, neatly stack your used dishes, but let the server load them on the tray.
Yep.
I think that's important.
Yes.
For people to know.
Yes.
I did read one you should know that that said that they should not stack their dishes in a neat pile at the end of the table. They should just leave everything where it is on the table, because a server likes to clear it up in their own manner. Sir, if they're neat, I don't give a fuck if somebody did the work for me, I'ma just grab it.
Yeah, one thing I could the only thing I could maybe agree with in that case is if there was like a bunch of food left on the plate, and then you put a linen napkin on top of it, and then maybe stack another plate, because then you got to dig that linen napkin off of there, and that motherfucker's covered in food.
Or anything, right? If you're stacking plates on top of food.
Yeah, just make sure, if you're going to do that, just make sure scrape the food.
Like you would at home.
Bingo. It's really not rocket science. It's really not rocket science, folks. But that guy was wrong. Who the fuck was that guy?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I think it's something everybody should know. You are not being helpful when you try to grab something off of a server's tray.
Never.
You're not being helpful ever. Not even a little bit. No. Not even a tiny bit. Like, you're not being helpful.
Not your job.
Somebody in here said, I've literally yelled, don't do that at a couple customers. Followed with an obligatory, sorry, I just don't want to ruin your pretty shirt. But,
real.
That's the truth.
Yeah. But again, it's a lot of people have never worked in the industry.
Someone said, I've been on the receiving end of that once and learned my lesson. Yeah, because you pulled shit off the tray and she probably dropped it. And everybody's so quick to blame the server because it's just a quote-unquote menial job, right? They're just a server. Do you know how much shit goes on behind the scenes of a server and in their brain?
No.
Like, don't touch my stuff.
There's a thing about when it comes to being a server, that, like I said, for it to be a job for everybody, that teaches you two critical things. One, it's how to deal with the general public, asshole or not, needy, asshole, children, elderly, everybody. There is no discrimination. Second, you have to be able to multitask effectively, and if not, you can't do the job.
You have to anticipate.
Yes.
You got to be able to anticipate what people are going to need.
Absolutely. And you also have to be empathetic, which is not a skill that can be taught.
Without being a pushover.
Yes. Yep. You have to be empathetic. You have to, a lot of people, a lot of times if you go out and you're like, this isn't what this food was not great. Or there was an issue with your order. A lot of times people just want to hear, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you. I absolutely understand. I'll get that taken off the bill for you. Or can I bring you something else instead to replace it? Or just make it right.
Can I give you maybe a gift card to come back?
Yeah, to come back, yeah. But, like, if it's you, like, oh, the cooks in the kitchen did it, or, they're really slow back there today. And
if you're a server and you're listening,
passing the buck.
Please don't pass the buck. That's so mean to those people who work, because then you're giving everyone who works in the kitchen a bad rap, and those people are going to be like, kitchen guys suck.
Kitchen guys. And
they don't.
You need to make friends with those guys, I promise you. Like Ashley said, don't sleep with them, but just make friends with them. Just be their best friends.
We're going to bring that life lesson back around one more time, you guys. Make friends with them, but do not sleep with them. Not because they're bad, not because they're gross, not because they're dirty, but just don't do it. Just don't sleep with them. But be really good friends with them, because they know how to drink, they know how to smoke, and everything, and they know how to cook.
And they're going to look out for you. They're going to look out for you. They're going to look out for your tickets. They're going to make sure if you go in and you're like, oh, I'm down, this and this, I got you coming. Yeah. And make friends with the expo, even if they're mean. So I'll tell you this.
Even if they're mean.
That was me.
Same.
It's so funny the way that comes full circle. I was at expo at Burdick's, Ann came in. Ann likes to tell that story. When she met me, she was terrified.
I think she did tell that story.
Yeah, because I was a very intense expo, and for any of you who don't know what that position is in the restaurant, because I do tell that sometimes, people are like, I don't know what that means. It's the person who stands on the opposite line, sometimes on the same line as the cooks, but many times on the opposite line, and you're directing all of the orders from that side.
You're looking at the ticket, you're looking at the food in the window, and you're pulling appropriate food, you're putting it together on a tray, you're making sure that the right food is going out to the right table at the right time. It has
all of the things, all of the condiments, all of the everything that you need, that it looks good, that you're not sending out trash as orders, and so you are the bridge between the front of house and the back of house. Mm-hmm. And so that's where it pays to make friends with everybody, right? And so when I came to the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, I had just found out I was pregnant when I got hired here. I came on to be a bartender, but he needed full time, and I was coming like part time. And then I had just found out that I got pregnant, and he sat down and had an interview with me. He's like, I really would like you to come on board as a manager, but I cannot offer you all of the things that an established business would offer you because we're just opening. So, I needed health care and so on and so forth. And I said, well, I'll come on. And I said, well, I can supervise and expo. And so that's basically what I came on as. I would bartend from time to time, but I did a lot of expo. And so when Jim called me to say, come on, I heard you doing this podcast. I listened in. It's great. Come host an episode here. I didn't hesitate. I did ask my partner first, and then of course, she wanted to come as well. And he said,
I'm not going to say no.
And he said, it's great. He was like, you guys are hilarious. And he said, all that I could think of, though, was you being business in the expo window. He was like, you guys are naturals at this. He was like, but I never knew that about you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I turned into a different person on the expo line.
You have to. You have to. You have to. If you don't, you're going to get run over, and that kitchen's going to
crumble.
Listen, that's why we make friends with the guys in the kitchen, because they can be some of the meanest motherfuckers out there.
They sure can. They sure can.
Get their food out,
right,
because it's got places to be.
Yep.
And they know you're going to blame them anyway if it comes back and it's bad. Right. So they're not trying to have it.
Gotta point the finger, right.
Well, this was a fun day. So what did we learn today? What did we learn?
First and foremost, we learned that the Beer Exchange has a phenomenal wine list, and that we encourage you definitely to come out and check it out.
I can't wait to come back and try some more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially knowing now what I know about the wine list.
Come out with your beer friends and
your wine friends.
Right. And your wine friends, because you would have never thought.
For everyone. They also have cocktails, you guys. So, like,
they do.
Literally, they have something for everyone.
They do.
So bring your friends. We also learned, please don't take things off a server's tray. We learned that you should always tip, regardless of the circumstance, even if it's just a little.
And give your service industry folks a little bit of love.
Oh, they need it, especially now.
During this holiday season and throughout this pandemic, because they've been hit really, really hard. So support local. Come out, you guys. If you have a free night, come to the Beer Exchange. Enjoy yourselves. The food is great. Try their wine. Try their beer. Have fun.
We also hear that because Laura used to work here, she can. She's got some pull. So Jim, if you're listening, we're requesting the meatloaf to come back.
Landon said
that
I could call and request some meatloaf as a special because it's not coming back on the menu. But I could call it any time and they would run it and I could have it.
So when that
Write
happens,
that down.
You'll find us bellied up to the bar or the table at the Beer Exchange, and we invite all of you to join us.
The meatloaf is fire. And I'm sorry, it won't be here if you come, but it is fire.
You guys, thanks you for listening today. Check out the Beer Exchange. Check out their wine list. Check out other local establishments.
We'll post all the good links for you.
And, have a good holiday season.
Yeah, happy holidays. We got a couple more coming at you, but we're just getting ready.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.